The following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, looking good, Billy Ray. Feeling good, Lewis. We have Norm Winsky coming on at the break, at the half-hour break. But as you know, there's been some more tariffs installed, 200 billion, I guess. As you can see from the DAX chart, they sold off immediately. It was even more dramatic in the FTSE. If you'll notice, that one even broke more. The primary reason for that might have been the fact that they're having political turmoil over there in the UK also. Now, a couple of things. One of the questions that was brought to my attention last night was the use of stops and what is the correct amount that you should use for a stop. Folks, the best way that I know of for determining what the risk is, if you will take the value of what you're trading, let's just take IBM as an example. IBM is trading at 150. If you take 3% of that price, which would be $4.50, that is going to be right in the ballpark of what the good risk would be. The reason why I believe that is Twentyman did a whole lot of studies on harmonic numbers and stuff, and that 3% figure came out almost all the time. So if you were, for instance, if you were trading the E-mini S&P trading around 2,700, 3% of that is going to be around 7.5 points, figure 8 points. So that's pretty much, the way you want to do it. The easiest way to do it, of course, is to defy human nature and do the work yourself and go in and look at all those 30-minute charts and see the ones that show up most often, the swings on a 30-minute chart. But as a broad, and it really works, as a broad rule of thumb, take 3% of the value of what you're trading, and that'll be your stop point. For instance, if you're, you just do it yourself. You'll see it, you'll be able to understand it. But usually anything around $400 or $500 is acceptable, with the exception of crude oil and gold, because they have such big volatility and they're high-priced items. 1,200. We have a gold contract is quite a. Oh, we got a caller this morning already, Mr. Z from Philadelphia. How are you doing, my friend?
Larry, I'm doing well. Hope you're doing the same.
Well, I'm here trading with my good friend BFF Byron Tucker up here in Scottsdale, Arizona today. What can I do for you, buddy?
Mr. Tucker and Pesavento together. That's I think I want to jet right out there and join the two of you right now.
Lewis and Billy Ray at the helm. Go ahead, my friend.
I love it. Thanks for reviewing that stop-loss tactics. Larry, I wanted to ask you about the E-mini S&P futures. And first ask you where or how low you think this might sell off to. But before I ask you to address it, I just have to tell you I value greatly a concept you taught, took me years to learn and kind of embrace. But it's that idea that you say, trade what you see, not what you think. And as far as that coming into play, yesterday afternoon I was short some index futures, specifically the Russell and the NASDAQ, and then that news hit at 4:55 p.m. New York time. And there was, abrupt selling, but I looked at the daily and the hourly chart going back a number of days, and I was looking and saying, gosh, this sounds like end-of-the-world type stuff. But the pullback in the S&P futures and the NASDAQ came back and, didn't even get back to the level of Sunday night's Globex open at 6 p.m. So I was sitting there thinking, okay, fine, it has headed lower. There's a, from a trader's perspective, you've got a gain. But be very alert for patterns suggesting to book a gain. Anyway, so So I am confidently trading what I see and not what I'm thinking about all this brouhaha that we're hearing. So thank you on that. And having said all that, how low do you think this might sell off to, please?
Well, John, I wish I knew. All I can tell you is your first observation was correct. We could barely get back to where we were Sunday night, so it doesn't really seem like it's very much. You're talking about a 1.5% drop in the Dow, which isn't very much. And so the key figure to watch for is if we get below 2763. I don't know what the low was last night in the E-mini. Haven't been able to check that this morning because I've been watching the Dow Jones, but the Dow Jones was only down 300 and some points, which is basically nothing. And as we said here on Monday, we're going to see a move of at least 500 points to the downside sometime shortly, because that's 1.618 of the biggest drop we've had so far, which is 300 points. So that's what I'm saying. Look for 500 points down in the Dow Jones, which would equate to probably about 30 points or more in the E-mini S&P 3%. Be around 30 S&P points would be my guess. How low did we get last night? Did we drop more than 30 points in the S&P?
We got to 66 coming off the 97 high, so that's 31 points down.
Yeah, that's exactly where it should have stopped, roughly. And so if it gets below that, and I don't even know where we're trading now, so you'll have to update me because I don't have access to live data right now.
Yeah, we're the S&P futures are at 76.
Okay, so we bounced a little bit off of that. Yeah, so it's held pretty good support. It's not the end of the world. I mean, everybody's worried about the tariffs, but the market doesn't seem to be worried about it, and that's that's what really that's how they count the money here. So that's what it looks like to me. We'll see. We did hit that major 61% level in the Dow Jones yesterday. That was the key thing that that we were talking about on the show yesterday. We went about 20 points above it, which is about $100, and then we broke down, quite a bit. We broke over 350 points into that first support down there. So really, until we get below that 2760 in the S&P and below 23,000 and 24,300 in the Dow, then I think we can still get a little bit of a bounce in here. I think this is going to be a real key day today, because if we just get a little ABCD correction intraday, that could mean that we're ready to head a little bit lower. But it's still early, so we don't really know for sure.
Gotcha. Very good. Well, hello to Mr. Tucker, and look forward to your talk with Norm at the bottom of the hour. So thanks so much, Larry.
Okay, thanks for calling in, Mr. Z. We certainly appreciate it. Okay, folks, one of the other questions that was brought up last night was when I first started trading, did I do paper trading? Folks, we didn't have paper trading back in the 60s. We didn't have any electronic stuff. I mean, everything was done by mail. You got your charts in the mail, and you had to go to the brokerage office to see the prices, or you had to call in to get what the price was. So I never really did any. And the problem was, I started out buying, stuff that went up. I was buying grains that went up. I was buying gold and silver that went up. So I didn't know that you could lose. I didn't lose until, 1974. So I really didn't do any paper trading. But that's the way to learn, is that paper trade. We'll take a break here. 877-927-6648.
The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
The Path of Least Resistance, David White's daily market letter, gives you trade recommendations based on David's proprietary power law vector indicator that put the odds of success overwhelmingly in your favor. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price for each stock and option trade. David combines his years of trading experience along with his background in technology and computing to offer his subscribers his take on the markets on a daily basis. Every trading day by 9:30, David publishes his morning issue of The Path of Least Resistance, along with updates sent out throughout the week whenever there is new actionable trading information. All new subscribers receive a 30-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. To sign up for David White's daily trading newsletter right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Larry takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Okay, folks, we're back, and I want to talk just a second more about the paper trading because that's really important, especially for new traders and also traders that run into a really bad patch where their system's not working anymore. At least for that time period, you might want to go to paper trading just to understand, what the possibilities are. Markets don't change very much, so I don't think so. I posted the chart of the euro in here because, that's really where the money is moving. And as you can see, that there's not been any panic regarding these trade tariffs, at least on a worldwide basis. So I don't know what's happening over there, but frankly, nobody else does either. So we'll just have to wait and see. What happens. Now, they're saying the last time we had trade things was back in the Depression. Folks, back in the Depression, we didn't have instant communication and transportation like we have now. So it's not a fair assessment of what we're looking at here. One other question that someone's asked me about, and that is the Mark Douglas material. Mark and I work together in my office there in Tucson. The reason why he and Paula moved to Arizona was because they loved the Arizona weather, and we were very, very close. And I have some really great stuff, and I'm going to do a segment every day now for a while, starting tomorrow, on some of the things that Mark showed me to help traders and some of the interviews that he did, with some of the more fancy or more what we call popular traders or famous traders that were interviewed by Mark. So it'll be fun to take a look at that. But if you look at this euro here, we had $1,000 breakdown from that 117.90 level. If we can get above that, that's going to mean something very, very important. Now, if this trade thing is really crazy, something is going to happen to the U.S. dollar. It's either going to increase dramatically or it's going to break dramatically. And we're at a critical level here at that 93 level. And also on the upside, it's at 95. So a move above 95 would be very bullish to the U.S. dollar, and a move below 93 would be bearish. That would be equivalent to the euro taking out on the upside above the 118.50 level if it were able to do that. Even the British pound, given the fact that Theresa May is having a lot of trouble with her political history here, or chance of even making it, has shown that the pound is still holding up relatively well, given the fact that there's bad news everywhere. So trade what you see, not what you think. That's about the only thing that I can help you with as far as being a technician, because I really don't understand the fundamentals of this stuff. So we'll watch what we're looking at. Now, we have a solar eclipse coming in and a new moon tomorrow. We have one particular thing to really pay close attention to, folks. I'll post this for you to take a look at it, and that here is the Christmas corn, December corn. This is over the last 3 weeks. You can see here that we have two very large ABCD patterns coming in here, about 6 or 7 cents lower, down around the 354 level. I think you could become a farmer there at 354 with about a 10-cent stop. That's equivalent to that really long-term pattern that we're looking at on the monthly charts. That's the 135 pattern we posted here in the room several times. I'm not going to do it again this morning because it's repetition. But watch this corn tomorrow and today and tomorrow, because we're in that zone of the solar eclipse and new moon. And remember, we have the lunar eclipse and full moon is going to be on the 27th of July. So we'll need to watch that one very, very closely, as we always do. Take a look at the gold market, folks. This is what we've done here over the last 10 trading days. We had that $30 rally. Now we're having a $20 pullback. If we get down to this 1245 level, that's going to be a really nice 78% level. We also have a nice little butterfly pattern on the 15-minute chart. So that's another one that I would certainly be paying close attention to as far as, a potential buy. And here again, your risk on that would only be around $5, at the very most. Now, there's an example of that 3% rule. So if you have gold at around 1250, 3% of that is roughly $4. So around $5 would be an adequate stop for gold during that time. So that's another reason to pay attention to that as we see these things, start to unfold. But that's what we're kind of taking a look at now. Since we were looking at the corn, we might as well take a look here at the soybeans. This will be the November soybean chart, and again, we're coming into this solar eclipse and new moon tomorrow. If we can get those beans down about another 15 cents, down around that 842 level, that looks like it would be the time to be a farmer or buy some November beans. That's down more than $2.60 a bushel, folks, from the high. Excuse me, $2.20 a bushel from the high. That's a very, very large amount. And we're in the midst of the growing season. So, there's going to be, we'll probably have one or two scares like we usually do. But right now we have the greenhouse effect going on across the Midwest. It's hot, but it's also wet. So we'll see if that's going to, hold things together. But we'll watch to see how it's going to move around. As far as the stock market, this morning we've completed a small ABC. See if I can bring this up to you. The NASDAQ didn't even correct very much at all. It was almost nothing. And if you'll just take a quick look here from the last, this is just a shorter term chart here on the NASDAQ. It's 15 minutes, but gives you the last 6 or 7 hours. You can see that we just completed a perfect ABCD pattern up there at that 1260 level, and we broke 30 handles from that level, but we didn't go down any more than that. These markets are not acting nearly as bearish as the news is telling you it is, folks. So pay attention to that. It's not what you think, it's how you think. So it just looks like there's something out there that might be a surprise coming. I don't know what it would be, but the stock markets are not acting that bearish. You would think, after a big run like we've had, that they would correct it a lot more. And in fact, they did not do that. So that's the bottom line of, what we're watching. So keep an eye on it. That's all I can say. It doesn't act, all this bearishness could change too. It could get very weak and take out that 7,200 in the NASDAQ, and that would change the whole program. But right now it's just bouncing around doing nothing. We got 5 minutes to the open, and anything can happen before that. The Treasury bonds and Treasury notes still are in a downtrend. We had a little bit of a rally here based on the drops in stocks, but not very much, and we only rallied just about one handle in the Treasury bonds, which is really not very much at all. So those are the ones that we're keeping an eye on today. But like I mentioned, the news coming across the pond is certainly quite dramatic, and yet not very much is happening. I think everybody in London is worried about. Well, they're not worried. They're excited about the game today with Croatia, which is good. Speaking of Croatia, I have been invited to go to Slovakia to speak, folks, and I'm going to be going there in September to speak at a Forex conference. I was there 2 years ago in Kiev, and so many people there were asking for take selfies that listened to TFNN. That was really a heartwarming experience. We'll be back with Norman, we call it to the minute, Winsky, in just a few minutes.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters. In quiet markets, investors search for new trading opportunities. We'd like to introduce you to a new product that provides opportunities even in flat markets. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a new and innovative Chicago-based exchange registered with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their trading platform. Nadex never charges a fee to use their platform, which even includes real-time charts and full customization capability. Nadex's unique short-term binary options allow traders and investors to capitalize on strategies even when the underlying markets are quiet. Nadex's innovation has allowed them to come up with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com, or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors. TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartleys, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks, and I hope we have our good friend Norm Winsky on the line. Norm, are you there?
Yes, sir, Larry. Good morning.
Good morning to you. You have the mic. And by the way, we've had several questions. How did the timing things work from yesterday?
Oh, believe me, I'm going to cover that.
Okay, go right ahead.
Yes, sir. But I like to do things in nice methodical chronological order. So first, we'll go back and do a quick review of when I was last did a regular segment on your show back just ahead of the full moon at the end of June. Okay, so we had a big cycle line up for the U.S. on the 25th. That was then we wanted to look at stocks, T-bonds, and the U.S. dollar. The night of the 26th, that's what AC is after the close. We had Mars turn retrograde in Aquarius. Aquarius has to do with copper, and so we'll be looking at copper. And then we also had another big cycle line up for the U.S. So that's going to be U.S. stocks, T-bonds, and U.S. dollar. And then we had Saturn. Another big cycle on the night of the 20th. They had a big, like 4 or 5 day cluster of things for the U.S. here. The night of the 27th, we also had U.S. stocks, T-bonds, and U.S. dollar. We had the full moon, and so we round up our usual suspects, which is financials, grains, and precious metals. And also because it was in Capricorn, that indicated we should be looking at coffee. And then we had a little cycle, sort of a smaller cycle, due there at the end of the week, the night of the 28th, which I think that was lead you into Friday the 29th. So here's your charts now. Okay, here's your S&Ps. Notice the green arrows there. You had a little bit of a low there on that 25th date. 26th was a nothing. It was a tiny little inside bar. Then you came back down and made another little low there on the 26th, 27th. There's a 26th, no, 27th and 28th, and there's a little high there on 1 day high on the 29th. Here's your T-bonds. They were they had a little low there on the 25th. There's your 26th, 27th dates. I made a little top there, and then a little topping area there, and then the 28th. And then there's the 28th. There's your full moon right there. And then the 28th, 29th, those were lows for the bonds. Oh, here's my box here. It tells you exactly where the full moon was right on the 28th. That was I think that might have been the low of the month or close to the low of the month for the S&P. They're right on the 28th. Here's your dollar. This was near perfection. You made your high on the dollar right on the 28th. You know, the full moon occurred a little bit after midnight in the wee hours of the 28th, and all these things turned when we opened up the next morning, that morning. Here's your copper. Okay, here's what happened in copper. We got down to the night of the 26th, 27th right there, and it didn't stop there. It didn't reverse. Now, here's what we can learn from that. I've noticed over the many years when it doesn't turn at our magic window, sometimes that's a midpoint. So you see I got a segment here with the red arrow, and then they'll get to our time window, and then if it keeps going, if you flip that over, I have a projection that copper could go down just a little bit more to the 268 level, okay? And Mars, I think Mars is going to be retrograde for a few more weeks in Aquarius. By the way, speaking of Mars, you might want to go out the night sky here over the next few weeks. And at the end of July, Mars will be at perigee. That's the closest to the Earth it's been in several years. I just noticed it a night or two ago. I happened to look up the sky. That red planet is Mars, and it looks like it's getting pretty close. You can tell. It's brighter and closer than normal. All right, there's your coffee. Coffee didn't do much. It kind of missed that top there by 2 days. Going to have to call that a miss. If I do red arrow, that's usually a miss. Corn. It misbehaved. Wasn't a big deal, but you probably would have taken a small loss on that. As you know, Larry, it didn't stop on the full moon. It was a couple days later till it had any kind of a bounce. Soybeans, the same deal. The corn and the beans misbehaved, but the wheat came through for us, and there we have a little bottoming action there on the wheat, and then you had a couple days later, a nice pop-up on the wheat, about 25 cents worth. Came back down, maybe went a penny or two lower, and turned right around and went right back up. So the wheat kind of saved the day there in the greens, Here's your silver. By the way, we'll be talking about silver again later. There you go. Silver had like a little bounce there, like a 1 day bounce. So you could have made some small money there, not much. Gold, as you know, you like to follow gold, Larry, and the gold is did not turn on the full moon like we would like, Here's the euro there. The euro is kind of the mirror image of the dollar index, and look at that, right to the day. The euro made its low there right on the full moon on the 28th. If you're trading any of these the currencies or whatever, you better be looking at the moon if you want to be in tune. All right, here's your crude oil up, up, up. You got a little topping area action there, right around the full moon on the 28th, 29th. And then we're going to move ahead. Now we're going to look at my day trading stuff. We gave the folks yesterday morning. So I came on Larry's show, if you didn't see the show yesterday, and gave out these times for little scalps, little trades during the day. Here's your times, and adding them all up. But I don't think we'll have time to go through each trade one at a time. That would take 5 or 10 minutes. So I just so I added them all up. If anybody doesn't agree with this, please feel free to call me. I'll be happy to put this stuff on the screen, on my Skype screen, and share it, and we'll go over one by one. But anyway, here we go. Add them all up. I got all but one was a winner. It was a grind because the volatility is pretty low here the last day or so. The VIX dropped to, I think, a 3-week low as of yesterday, so that makes trying to do this, you're not hitting any home runs, The best trade of the day was the 1:52 p.m. and that got you about 4 handles, and we had one miss. So I added them all up here, and you had the potential to make about 17.5 handles. That's $875 for 4 commissions, or 10 out of 11 for over 90%. Here, I thought I'd give you a sample. Here's your 152, the best trade of the day. You can see how beautiful that was. Market came down, 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 and right there at 152 is when it turned and started going back up. You had no heat on that trade, Larry. That was beautiful. All right, there we go. And now we're moving on ahead here. What's coming up in the future? We got, we had huge stuff happening the last day or two. Let's see, it was Monday night, overnight. We had one of my top things is when the planets get to 0 latitude. We had Mercury do that the night of the 9th. And then the next day, or just afternoon, I mentioned that on my list of events here, that the Jupiter turned direct just past noon. And if you go look at the charts there, there's a little topping area there on the very small short term. And then big picture, of course, after the close, Jupiter is usually a one-day thing, plus or minus a day. And then I wrote in my comments last night to my clients. I said something happened near 5 o'clock. I wasn't sure what the news was. I said either some news hit or Jupiter, the effect of Jupiter topping out there, wore off or something. So anyway, it sounds like we got some music coming, Larry.
We'll be back after these few words with Norm Winsky of Astro Trend.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN has put together the finest programming lineup each trading day, featuring some of the most knowledgeable and respected financial minds in the nation to educate traders and investors. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we broadcast 8 hours a day, starting at 9 a.m. as Larry Pesavento kicks us off with Trade What You See. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we broadcast 11 hours. Get an early and healthy start to your day as Nico and Paige bring you Living a Primal Lifestyle. Then catch Andy Hecht at 5 p.m. with the Commodities Hour, following the Tom O'Brien Show. Swim lessons from TD Ameritrade Think or Swim is now at 11 a.m., followed by Basil Chapman at 12 noon. See the TFNN program lineup via the link on the front page of TFNN.com to get a complete overview of our TFNN shows and hosts. And keep TFNN's Tiger TV tuned in on your mobile device, PC, or Mac for the latest financial news and information throughout the broadcasting day. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
The Bull Bear Binary Option Hour, brought to you by Nadex. Next on TFNN.
Okay, we're back, folks. We're talking with Norm Winsky of Astro Trend, and we're getting ready for this solar eclipse and new moon tomorrow. Norm, continue on, please.
Yes, sir. So, by the way, I pretty much agree with you, Larry. If we can, might be in a little basing action here, or pull back a little bit more pullback in the grains here, going into the eclipse, which we'll be talking about in just a minute or two. That would probably be maybe a good setup for a low. That's what I would be thinking. We got some zigs and zags here with the grains. So anything at time Mercury does something important, you need to keep an eye on the grains. We had that Monday night, and then Jupiter turned direct yesterday afternoon, this afternoon. And so let's just go look. You already showed the chart there a little earlier in the show, but there you go. There's your corn. And now we're over here in this corner of the chart, and coming down here, and then same thing with the beans. And they're all testing their lows, or making new lows, and just a little bit lower, I think, might do the trick, Mm-hmm. And then we're going to go back here to where we're looking in the future, and we have let's see, we have it's a couple of markets we haven't looked at yet. We'll be looking at here in a minute. The only two markets that I haven't covered that are indicated now are cocoa and hogs. We'll be looking at those charts in just a minute. And then we have some more cycles coming. This morning, the 11th, we have some big cycle with the U.S. So we're going to be looking at, again, a change in trend possibly for the U.S. stocks, T-bonds, and U.S. dollar. And then there's another Mercury thing coming up tonight, which means, the grains might have a little whipsaw action here. And then we're going to be looking at the night of the 12th. We have the solar eclipse. By the way, this is a special solar eclipse because the moon will be at perigee, and for all these things to line up, I believe only occurs about every 20 years. So that's pretty amazing. Okay.
Is that like a super new moon, Norm?
Well, that's exactly. This is a super new moon, which is also an eclipse. Now, it's not a total eclipse; it's a partial eclipse, but it's still an eclipse. All right.
Okay.
So it may not be the very top thing, when you have all these cycles, when you get the total solar eclipse with perigee, but it's probably the next best thing,
What is the exact time? We're having a question, but what is the exact time of the eclipse tomorrow, Norm?
I could have that in about maybe 10 seconds, if you can wait
9,
just a moment here.
8, 7, 6,
I'm rushing to
5,
look it up.
4.
Yeah, okay. I got
3,
10:48
a.m.
Eastern, p.m. Sorry, p.m. Eastern.
Okay, on Thursday.
So on our portion of the Earth here, you won't be able to see it because it's you'd have to be on the other side of the Earth to see the sun blocked out. Right? Mm. Call your friends in Hong Kong, Larry.
Okay.
Right? Maybe they'll put you on the camera or internet or something, so you can see it. I'm sure you can go on the internet there and watch it with the internet and the stuff we have today, All right, so anyway, there we go. Here's the only charts we haven't looked at yet. Is cocoa. Cocoa is sleeping unless it has a big move here in the next day or a couple days. I would forget about it. But you got to look at it to make that determination. On the other hand, look at the hogs. All of a sudden, they went from sleeping, kind of going sideways to, and they're rushing for a trough. Look at that, Larry. Right, as of yesterday, right? So it could be a setup here in the next couple days for the hogs. Okay, put that on your watch list, okay? All right. And then we're moving ahead here now. Any questions? I think I did a good job of getting through everything pretty quickly. So
well, you got through it pretty quick. We have a question from one of our listeners, and that is you mentioned Mars, and he had heard that Mars was one of the things that W.D. Gann had worked on. Do you concur with that? I mean, what is your...
Oh, yeah, I'm sure Gann was, I know Gann was an astrologer and worked with all the planets. Yeah, so, you know, I had the great fortune to get to talk to somebody who actually worked with Mr. Gann for 10 years. Back in the early 80s, I tracked this guy down, and he let me, I was fortunate he didn't hang up on me, and I got to talk to him a few times, and... You know, you remember that generation, right, Larry? If you talk to one of the older guys, you know, like Gann's generation, or you know that group of people, you were lucky if they didn't hang up on you, right?
Now I happen to be one of those people, so I've got to be I got to be prepared.
You had to call it, be very deferential, you know, very respectful, deferential. Yeah. Now I have some of these younger guys that are totally disrespectful to folks like you or me, right?
Well, that's okay too. Norm, one other question someone's asking us this morning, and that is about these tariffs and stuff that is going on. Is there any astrological basis for any of this that's going on as far as things that might be in the charts or historical stuff that might be
Well, we were due to have I was looking for a top here in the last, you know, with Jupiter turning direct, and they got to come up with some excuse for the market to top out, so there you go. That's the way I look at it.
Well, we made some major numbers.
I supplied the planets; they supply the script. You know.
Okay, well, that's a good moniker to work by.
Right. That's kind of the idea. Maybe don't take that real literally, but you know, kind of get the idea. I'm looking, expecting something. You know, over and over again through my career, I say, "Oh, look here, we got this cycle, and it says that this should happen." And I don't know why or how, and then all of a sudden some news item comes along to help my scenario along, you know.
Okay, one other question we're getting from someone, and that is, do you use data like the number of new highs to new lows or advanced decline lines, things like that? Do you look at any other technical indicators?
A little bit, but not very much.
Okay, mostly it's the astro things that you...
Right, I'm just looking for the markets that get to some extreme at my key dates. If it's going down, you're looking to buy it. It's going up, you're looking to sell it. The markets will reverse about 75% of the time at these key times. If it doesn't work, then you stop, you get out, you know, or in the minority of the case, small number of the cases, like maybe 10%, where it goes into it goes into acceleration or a breakout kind of scenario. Then you're in acceleration like that. I showed you the copper chart. That's what the copper did. It didn't stop there. It doubled the move. You know, that was just the midpoint, you know.
Sure. Now, how would the folks reach you, Norm, if they would like to learn more information?
That's a great question, Larry.
Why don't you tell us what the answer to that question would be, Norm?
Okay. I would love to help the folks there. I do a monthly class every month, usually in the first week of the month. I do free classes, individual classes. My wife says I'm crazy to do this, but I do about a 6-hour class where I basically give the folks what I say is the equivalent of a trader's college education. We get to learn some astro. We do some advanced Fibonacci, learn that. I have a Fibonacci timing cycle model that I teach them how I do that, and fractals and all kinds of things to learn. I've reduced Gann to about 15 minutes. Most people spend 5 years torturing themselves. I reduce it to 15 minutes, and it's probably worth thousands of dollars, you know. So I'd be happy to call the folks. And by the way, if you don't know me, I've been doing this a long time, almost as long as Larry, but not as long as Larry. But I'm a little bit to the junior there. And so, 50 years or so. It started when I was a teen. I hear the music coming, so I got to talk fast. Get a hold of me here at 239-594-3939. There's my Ann Winsky at embarkmail.com and Skype norm.winsky. And this stuff looks complicated, but it really isn't once you get used to the terminology and so forth.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold and gold mining equities, or you're a gold bull that sees 2018 as the year of commodities, now is a great time to sign up for the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his Gold Report every Monday morning before the market opens and covers a variety of topics including gold, silver, platinum, copper, the XAU and HUI, the dollar, bonds, South African rand, as well as more than 20 of the most actively traded mining equities. Start your 2018 off with a bang and sign up for the Gold Report today. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. For all the details and to start your subscription right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Gold Report under Investment Newsletters. Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks, and we're having a pretty strong recovery rally here in the NASDAQ. The Dow's not moving very much. The S&P is moving a little, but mostly it's in the NASDAQ that's getting the bounce back. But if you look to see where we stopped on this correction, you know, the Dow was down 280 points, I believe, from high to low, which isn't really very much. It recouped more than half of that, so there's really no panic yet. You know, these 10% tariffs that we're looking at are not the end of the world, folks. We have trillion-dollar economies, so there's something out there that people are not considering, and I don't know what it is, and I don't think anybody else does either, but the markets are telling you that it's not nearly as bad as what the people in the press are telling us. So that's all my 2 cents worth that I'm able to tell you. I don't really know much more than that. I would want to keep you informed that we did make the 61% retracement yesterday in the Dow Jones. That was off of the high we made way back there at 25,400. We got up to 24,920 yesterday. That was 30 points higher. So it was really not very much going on to make to make you think it was going to go straight down or anything. But we did have a pretty good correction. We got down to 24,600 and change. That was near the high that we made on Sunday night. So like Mr. Z was telling us when he came on this morning, the market really did not act very much. Excuse me, 30 handles in the S&P, is not very much anymore. It used to be, of course, but now it is certainly not. So keep in mind that these markets have a tendency to go up and down, but remember, it's not what you think, it's how you think. So think in the correct way. Don't have an opinion on the market. Let the market tell you what it wants to do and try to go along with it. But anyway, we'll see how this is going to be happening, down the road and everything. But pay attention to these markets because we're going to have some incredible volatility. It's just going to be getting greater and greater. So this is what we're looking at.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks!